I'm very happy to be here. We had a little click over here. Well, I am here at LTLA Radio, and I'm so excited and so happy to share with this evening with you. I have fantastic, amazing guests, and I'll start with Miriam Yetushalmi, and welcome, Miriam. Miriam is an author, and I want to say a spiritual leader. You write many, many books. You have 25 books in total, Miriam. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I have Shoshana Mansouri, our amazing, amazing Rebbitzin from Chabad of Tarzana. And thank you so much, Shoshana, for being here.
It's my honor.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, hey, friends, we have this magical night tonight. I am so, so excited. And I want to open up this evening with a short, something from Miriam's book, because I really, I went to look for the book for a book that's called Reaching New Heights Through Health and Happiness. And then that wasn't there. So I found, Miriam, you have another book that's called Kindness in Marriage, which is very inspirational. Well, thank you for writing that.
Thank you, really, for giving me the opportunity to be here and share.
Amazing. That's amazing. I'm going to read you guys a little something that I think it's really interesting and inspiring. And Miriam wrote, negative is potentially positive. And I was like, okay, and there's positive in every negative, right? But let's see what Miriam says. So she says, similarly, you can train yourself to perceive your own and your spouse's attributes realistically, yet positively. Both husband and wife should strive to accept others' imperfections. The first step toward achieving the goal is to maintain a high level of self-awareness. Wow. That's a very powerful statement, Miriam. And maybe on that note, you can kind of explain to us, what do you mean by that?
So every weakness of a person is like an untapped reservoir of such potential, like a powerful energy. So, for instance, if you look in the world and you see fire, fire is destructive, but fire also is incredibly powerful and is so useful in our life. Energy, cooking our food, giving us warmth and heat. So a potential negative character trait we learn in the deep teachings of the Torah is an actual character trait that is so positive once the person learns how to channel it and direct it in a good way. You could see, let's say, an ox. It could be very dangerous, but if you put the yoke on it, then it could plow a field like thousands, and you wouldn't, let's say, hire a mouse to do that work. So there's an energy. Once channeled, then it becomes like a superpower and one's most positive quality, in fact.
I see. So that's very interesting. That's not something that we all think. We'll literally, when we see a negative and we focus on the negative and don't see that's hidden message behind that. So you wrote so many books, and I'm going to share. I'm very excited, first of all, to meet you. It's such an honor. I'm very, very grateful for you coming here. You're a busy girl. And I know you came all the way from the city, which we know from the city, like it's like driving to a different country. It's even if you lived here, right?
Yes.
You used to live in Encino.
Oh my gosh, it was a beautiful drive over, just heavenly, actually, just all the views, and it was a beautiful ride. And
that's beautiful. So let's talk about your books. In addition to writing books for children. Is this how you started with children's books?
Yes, actually my son, I would tell stories to, and he just begged me to make a book out of it. So I would make a scribble, and copy and put tape in it and show, this is my book. And he's like, no, I want a real book. Okay. And I'm like, oh, maybe this could be a real book. So I really first did it for him. And then one thing led to the other, where it just became like a passion of mine to inspire children in this way. I do drama with children. I do workshops with children. So why not give them a book?
That's incredible. And what do you write about?
all kinds of things. Even just one of my books is on camping, and we go through the 4 different elements of the character traits, showing that the negative is a positive potential. So getting children to be aware that they don't have to like be scared of their negative attributes, but to like really see them as something so good and so holy, and that way they'll have more self-understanding and more self-love. Because I think right now, more than any plague in the world, kids need their ability to love themselves as is. And that's hard. That's like, even for adults, that's like a #1 plague, you know, for all like walks of life.
Exactly. And as a parent, reading a book like that to your child and teaching them that, you know, to go beyond the negative is, for a parent itself, it's healing for the parent to read that.
Yes, because sometimes you think you did something wrong. Why are they that way? No, they were born with such a powerful, positive energy that just needs to be learned how to be channeled in a good and wholesome and direct way.
That's incredible. And your adult books that you write, and I see this Reaching New Heights and Kindness in Marriage and Prayer and Meditation, they're based on your spirituality, or you went to school and you studied psychology and such?
Thank God, like what I've learned in my secular degrees, I have a double master's in psychology and marriage and family counseling, because I felt like one without the other is just not complete. Like I really have to know the workings of the mind and how to really brain train to like help people switch their mindsets so that they can incorporate and like implement the knowledge, because you can read a lot of books in one year, out the next, and if you don't really know how to help them brain train to incorporate it, then it just, they falling prey again and again to the same patterns of behavior. So then I started studying deep teachings of the Torah of Hasidus, and it was like everything that wasn't complete and wholesome or missing, like, because the spiritual factor is one of the main ingredients to bringing that kind of chiropractic alignment of your soul.
Right. Yes. Yes. That's very well said. The chiropractic alignment of your soul. I love that. That's very inspirational. I'm so glad you're here, and we're going to talk to you a little more, and thank you very much again for joining us and being here. And Shoshana,
hello.
Let's talk some crazy mikvah talk.
Oh, let's go.
but before we go to crazy mikvah talk, you wanted to share with us something very special. It's a special day today.
It is. Today we are the 23rd day of the month of Sivan, and it's actually a very special day because years ago, that was the day that Mordechai, the whole story of Purim that we all know, that was the day that Mordechai was given permission from the king Ahasuerus to rewrite new letters in order to annulate the decrees of Haman.
Wait. We're not in Purim yet. What's going on?
You're right, but it happened on the 23rd day of Sivan.
Oh.
The story of Purim, people think it happened very quickly, but it really took a very long time. Okay. So on the 23rd day of Sivan, that was the day he was allowed to write those new decree that's going to cancel the decree of Haman.
Okay.
And the Lubavitcher Rebbe gave us a very beautiful learning that from that we should know that on this day, we too have a power to rewrite something, to demand something from the King of Kings.
Today.
Today is a very, very special day. So one of the miracles that happened today is that we finally here.
This was, let me tell you what kind of miracle this was. I'm not going to name any names. We were supposed to have a very special guest here tonight, and very spiritual. And I would love to have a program where we can have a spiritual evenings right now, because I think this is the time for it. Very perfect timing. People, we are going back to normalcy somewhat, and it's really a good time to focus on relaxing in the evening, listening to good talk, interesting, fascinating, and just taking your soul to a healthy place. Because we need that. The Jewish soul needs to be in a healthy, nurturing place. So evenings are a place where we are like, we're robust. We're like, what can we do now? Especially the modern society Jews, like we are right now, want to go to bars and we want to have, fun stuff. And we really, it's very easy to disconnect again. So I would love to have an hour or so in the evening here with spiritual talk and interesting stories and inspiring stories. So that's my goal here, and thank you very much for stepping into those big shoes. It's a huge one, and you have an event coming up. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, we're going to have a beautiful event. Actually, I'm going to be doing it with Miriam. Miriam's going to be our guest speaker at that event. It will happen on Monday, June 14th, so it's really coming up very, very soon. And it's going to be a woman event. We're going to have a beautiful evening for women where we're going to feed the soul and the mind and the body. So we really invite all the women on the talk to come and join us. I could give you more information about the
I just have one question. Is your sister going to be catering the sweet table?
You wish. I could ask her to make us some chocolate. That would be a very good idea. I didn't thought about it, but that's the truth.
Yeah, because
nobody could refuse
Nobody can refuse a French couture chocolate. That's something Los Angeles hasn't seen it yet.
Yeah, I'm going to ask her for some, but definitely I will make sure to bring you a box.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I always love that. That's very generous. So when is exactly the night going to be?
June 14. It's going to be like almost in 2 weeks. It's actually, we did it close to that date because it's also going to be very close to the date where we're celebrating the yahrzeit of Lubavitcher Rebbe.
Okay.
And we wanted to honor his memory, so we did it during that time.
Okay.
And it's going to be in Woodland Hills.
Okay.
In a private home in the backyard.
Okay.
So it's an open sitting and every woman is invited.
Okay, wonderful. And if somebody wants to get in touch, how would they find out from what? Where should they go to find this information?
So I could maybe give my number, and if somebody want to contact me,
so they can reach out to you directly on your phone number.
And I will send a flyer with all the information.
Okay, amazing. Okay, so we will post Rabbit and Shoshana Mansouri's phone number on our page, and you guys can check it out. And I assure you will have an amazing time. It's very, very fun, and you guys are dancing always and singing, and everything is amazing.
It's even in the program. We're planning to do that if we have enough time. So yes, it's a woman night out. Everybody has to come.
Amazing. And bring matzav ruach tov, right? That's it, because that's what it is. Yeah. So is it time to talk about our crazy mikvah stories yet?
Yes, I wanted to say one more thing about this week, since everything that happened is not by coincidence.
Yes.
But this week is a very special week. So we say that today is a special day, but this week is also a special week because we're going to be reading the Torah portion of Parashat Shlach that speaks about the challah. And the challah was actually the very first mitzvah that God gave to the Jewish people as they entered the land of Israel. So I just want to maybe use 2 minutes to give you guys a virtual challah bake. But
when?
I could do that right now in 2 minutes.
Virtual challah bake right now? That's a miracle!
And I don't have to do it.
Look at that. And without getting dirty. I mean, oh my God, I'm so excited. Okay, let's do it.
Yes. So the truth is, challah is the bread of the seventh day of Shabbat. And it has 7 ingredients. And each one of them is an ingredient for life. Inside of your challah bowl, you have everything that you need for your life. So one of the main ingredients that we put is flour. Flour, we normally sift a flour. Flour is something that grows from the ground. It represents all the physical needs that a person could have. So as we normally pour our flour in our bowl, this is a time to pray for all the members of our family, for all the physical need that they have. And the fact that we sift the flour, it's a way to ask God. I'm really good at asking, I'm going to want this, and I'm going to want that, and I'm going to want even more. But is all those things really good for me? So the fact that I sift it is a way to ask God, if it's really good for me, let it come down to me. If it's not, let's leave it on the side. So that's the water. That's the flour. Then we're going to put water. Water comes from heaven, right? How do we say heaven in Hebrew?
Shamayim.
Shamayim. Shamayim. There is water. Water represents all the spiritual need that only God could give us. And the water that we put in our challah, it's not too cold, or it's not too hot. is just warm temperature. Just like the room temperature that we want our home to be. Nobody want to live in a home that is too cold and nobody talk to each other. Nobody want to be in a home that is too hot when everybody scream at each other. But even the temperature of the water shows you how we ask God for our home. And right there, you have flower, you have water, you have heaven and earth coming together. But we want sweetness in our life, so we're going to add the sugar. And then we want also discipline in our life, and that's the salt. We want health in our life, that's the oil. We want God protection in our life, and that's the yeast. And each one of them represent an ingredient that we need for life. But even though you may have used 7 ingredients in your bowl, you still don't have a challah.
Right.
You're going to have to put your own work. And this is the 8th ingredient. This is really what's going to make your challah taste so special. You're going to put your strength, you're going to put your energy, you're going to put your request. And all that together, you're going to be able to get your dough. And this is the mitzvah that God gave us, the first mitzvah. Why? Because we have to remember, yes, I worked so hard to get the wheat, I worked so hard to get whatever I need. But do not forget where your blessings come from. So the very first piece of dough was given to the Kohen, the high priest, the holiest man on earth, the man that was making the connection between Jews and God. And that was a gift that the Jews will give to the Kohen Gadol to thank God for all the blessing that we have in our life. So if you have some time today, go baking.
Oh my God, Shoshana, I'm inspired. I mean, I love that. That was very inspiring. And if anybody is asking, why am I making this challah? Well, there it is. There's your answer. There's just like that. Amazing. Thank you so much, Shoshana.
Pleasure.
Thank you. We really appreciate. We love you here. I love you. I mean,
happy baking, everyone.
I'm announcing I love Shoshana Mansouri. So let's talk about mikveh, because mikveh has a kind of a stigma around it, you know, and I know because I come from there. You know, I started my path to mikveh not by choice. So my attitude was negative, and when you have a negative attitude about a mikvah, you look for the negative elements around it. Like, oh, I don't want to go to mikvah. Let me go find a mikvah that's terrible, so I can justify that bad experience that I have. So I want to touch on that, the crazy stories about mikvah. Like, one of the stories I have is that I you know, every time I had to go to the mikvah, and you were my witness there because you held my hands through all this.
Was our secrets.
It was our little secret. Shoshana, would call Shoshana. I would say, Shoshana, it's 12:30 a.m. 12:30 a.m., Shoshana. I have to be at the mikvah. I'm coming from I don't know what. Shoshana never said no to me, and I'm so grateful for you for that, because that made my mikvah passage very. I was like, okay, I always have Shoshana, and when Shoshana wasn't there, I was like, how am I going to go through this experience? Am I going to drown in the mikvah? Oh, you know, so it was always like that. But every time, Shoshana, every time I went to the mikvah, something happened. Something happened to me. You know, I mean, one time I was stopped by a cop because I was driving back home from the mikvah. I was wet, and my windows were steaming. It was raining outside, and I was drinking a Pellegrino bottle. And the driver next door to me, who saw me drinking Pellegrino bottle with the steamed windows, you know, called cops. So the cop followed me all the way home, stopped me on this, you know, by my house. I was 50, you know, yard, and he asked me, "Are you drunk? What are you doing with wet hair in the pouring rain?" And I looked at him and I said, I was swimming. I went swimming. So
in a pool of holiness.
It was, you know, God put me in a test. Is this the same for everyone? Is this what it is? Is a mikvah kind of a test, spiritual test for a Jewish woman?
I don't know if I would say that it's a test. I'm going to let Miriam answer this one, but what I will say, I think that the experience of a mikvah, if it's really learned properly, because just as we do have to have some knowledge about it. Mikvah, for me, if I had to summarize it in one sentence, I think this is a time in your life where you could be the closest ever to your Creator. Mikvah, it's an appointment with God. It's so special. And I think we should feel very special, we, the Jewish woman, that we were given that gift from God. And you know, I think it's also very interesting. I mean, we just all live that crazy life of a COVID moment, and synagogue got closed, yeshiva got closed, school got closed. What didn't close? Well, I'm going to tell you what didn't close. Mikvah did not close.
It stayed open.
It stayed open the whole entire time.
Wow.
And for me, this is a proof that God will not let anything stop the prayers of women, because nobody could pray like a woman. Woman, you have a power, use it. Nobody could stop the prayers of a woman. And everything else closed around. The mikvah did not close. And I think when people really realize that we all have a piece of God inside of us, and there is time in your life where God gives you a chance to tap to it, you could really feel that piece of God that is inside of you. For example, on the day of Yom Kippur, we all feel so holy suddenly. We could tap to that piece of God. It's not always accessible because it could be covered with layers of dirt, but there's time where we could access it. And I think that mikvah is definitely one of those moments.
I would like to iron out a few details for the ladies that wanna come back to the mikvah or try it for the first time, and heard horror stories. The mikvah is dirty. The mikvah has doesn't have towels. The mikvah doesn't have amenities. And I can I'm your witness. The mikvah of Tarzana is beautiful. It's beautiful. It's pink. Okay, it's pink with beautiful towels, with beautiful rooms, and everything that you need to be pampered. It's like a spa.
It's a spiritual spa.
I finally got it. I finally got it that as a woman with a busy schedule, and a husband, thank God, and children, and children were little, and that. This is the time of a month, okay, where I disconnect myself from everyone. Not just everything, everyone. Nobody can reach me. Those 3-4 hours, sometimes there were 5 hours. Right. I was in a mikvah, enjoying the bathtub, getting a bubble bath. I brought my fancy shampoos and my beautiful soaps and my robe. And that was my time.
100%.
And
just like we charge our phone, we go to the mikvah to recharge our spiritual energy. This is the way we could take all this energy and really bring it into our home and invite God to our home for the whole entire month.
Right.
It's like diving into the divine. It's like the mikveh is equivalent to the womb of Hashem, where you're just embraced, where the one-on-one bonding time, and it's like the heavens and all the doors up and the gates of Shemaim are open. So like many tzaddikim would like really meditate and pray and get such like such brachas, and we have that opportunity. It's incredible.
It is incredible. It's a gift.
It is a gift.
It is a gift. So thank you so much for being here and in educating us about our Jewishkeit. And just to close our show, again, Shoshana, if you could tell us where and when is the event and what it's called?
Okay, so it's a review of the laws of the mikvah, but it's even a class for people who didn't have a chance yet to hear about mikvah. There will be also a lot of what we call the hashkafa of the mikvah.
Okay.
And it's going to happen again on Monday, June 14 at 7 p.m.
Okay.
So make sure your husband are home to babysit. And it's a lady night out. It will be in Woodland Hills. I will give you the exact address and the exact details.
June 14.
June 14, 7 p.m.
7 p.m. Excellent.
And Miriam's going to be there, and I will be there, and I hope all of you are going to be there.
I'm bringing in wine, okay?
Woo-hoo.
I just need my bottle of Chardonnay, and I'm a happy girl. I'll see you there.
I can't wait to see everyone there, really.
That will be really nice.
Thank you so much, ladies,
Thank you so
and
much for
appreciate
having
you.
us.
Thank you. It's great having you here.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for having us, TLA.